Good morning. This is Dr. Bill White with the American Orthodontic Society, and I want to talk to you a little more about some strange impactions that I've had over the years, and this is certainly one of them. So, if you'll stick with me a little bit, I'll show you a very strange impaction and what it did, and a few years after we finished it. There's a beautiful young lady here, and her teeth were quite crowded. She had one baby tooth over here on the left. You can see I've got an X on it, and there it is again. The teeth are not far from class 1. They're a little class 2-ish though, and on this side they are solid class 1. We've got a little overjet, and here we're not going to go through the steps of everything, but I'm going to show you what happened to this tooth. So here we are finishing the case up, and now I'll show you what we went through to get here. Here is the first picture that I've got of Panorex, and this cuspid had gone right across the root of the lateral, and this is what we want to stay away from. Don't let the crown touch the tip of the root or the developing root, or it'll create a problem with that. It's a hard time to get out of this, to try to pull this away, and you can't pull this over here, so you got us stuck with a problem with this tooth right here, and it's going to cause problems. So I talk with the parents and everything, and we need to bring this cuspid down in here, even if we lose this permanent tooth right there. Well, we were able to do that without messing up the tooth completely. We'll show a lot more x-rays. Here is the tooth later on down the line, right here where we had it in there and we bonded behind it. Okay, here we'll go through the x-rays and show you what happened to the tooth. Now all the wisdom teeth are in and everything on this case. We have them there. The ones on the bottom we don't see. The ones on the top, they wouldn't have room anyway. All right, there's this cuspid right at the end of that, and this picture is bucked out, but you can see it looks like it ate the root off, almost uh, 2/3 of it, or something like, at least 1/3 of the roots is eaten off there. Now here's another one that goes back up again, and here we go with this one. There's still we still haven't been able to get that tooth off of there. And now here we're pulling this tooth off, and as it came off, it just looked like it ate the root completely off the tooth. And that's what I thought had happened. And so I told the parents, well, we just not going to have a tooth, or it's going to have such a short root. And they said, well, we go ahead and get this cuspid in place. Well, we pulled it down, and what happened, when I was lecturing with this, a lot of times I told them that I put some of Dr. White's root grower on this tooth, and you see when we pull this thing off, there the tooth is. We were able to put it up in place. It's got a big area around the periodontal membrane on that tooth, but that's the same tooth right there. Now what happened back here, the tooth had laid down, and you see the bracket looks like it was here and sticking up like that. And so the tooth just laid down in there, and the root is still there on it, but it looks like the tooth grew a root on there. It is a strange thing. And here it is, and now I'm going to run through real quickly how we finished it out. We've gotten rid of the wisdom teeth back in the back and it weren't any in the upper, with the lower ones are gone. Here this crown that we had there was, this one right here had a big root canal in it and all this, and we got it straightened up, and they did a crown on it to cap that tooth, and it was too big really, and it kind of messed up things. Now here's some bigger pictures of that tooth as it comes across, and you see we have to get this deciduous tooth out down here, and this, if you knew where this was and could tilt the root back or forward, that's the only way, because you can't move it either way or this way and get it out of the way of that crown. So we did a little bit of that, but not enough. So I explained we may lose this tooth, and I really was concerned about it. Now here, that's after we finished it. The bone structure on this went away here, but I think it builds back up around the tooth. And when we get it down in there, we're going to bond a wire on the lingual side of these 3 teeth right there. Now, here we finished this thing out, and we show where we had to go back and bracket. Now this is lined up. This is 90. This is 98. This is a good many years after we had to go back and re-line up the upper anterior teeth, and they put braces back on them. I'll go through that quite quick here. They crowned this, had this tooth crowned. It had the root canal, and it was too thick, and it bent this tooth out of place on the lower there. So we went back in and banded those upper anterior teeth again and lined them back up. So you see how they got the crown down inside here. So we're going to pull this out, but it's still too thick right there, and that moves the lower tooth, and it fits against. And there's the bottom, it's doing fine, but you see this tooth has gotten out of place down here. You see that right there. Now, let's go on, and we come back and we bracket these teeth. This is 97, and we line those front teeth up again. And then we come in and put this bonded wire behind these teeth. And it wouldn't be bad if you bonded something from cuspid to cuspid and let it be a bite plate too on the case. This is a kind of a bite plate over here, but we just went that far with it, and see how that tooth had that thick area on the back, and it pushed that lateral out of place on the bottom part. So when I lined this up, I should have ground this off right here. This area right in here is what hit that lateral and pushed it off. So this is a mistake that I made, and just pointing it out. I'm not going to redo it now from here. So there we are, finishing 97. And here's 12 of 97. And here that's lined up, it looks real good now. And this is here of 97. Now you see our bonded deal that's right here. And this is the bite plate on the retainer. I wish it had just gone ahead and gone with a bonded everything together and let that be the bite plate. And they wouldn't deepen if they took the retainer out. Okay, here she is. That's the final picture right there. I'll go back and show this. But that tooth stayed in, And this is several years after we started it in the 80s. And I do believe that tooth here, the tissue looks good about it. And I think that tooth will make it. So we'll have to keep it clean and let some periodontists go down and clean the root and whatever. But I'm finished with we finished with the case. I should have ground this tip of this off right here. And I appreciate you watching this, but maybe you'll get some idea on impacted cuspids from this. So I'm going to stop here, and I would like for you to join our organization and subscribe to our channel so we know who we're reaching. And this goes all over the world. I can't really believe that. And I want you to know I appreciate the people that watch this. It took me a long time to learn it, but I want to share this with everybody wherever you are. And thank you for watching, and subscribe to this. So we ask you, or just say goodbye. And I'm going to close up here.